Okay, good morning, everybody. So, how's everybody? I hope all of you are doing well. Just give me a minute. I'll set up my device and then we'll be ready to go. Second. Okay, got it. Okay, so the device is all set up now. Okay, just give me a second, guys. Okay, so we are at 99 people now, 100 people. So I'm assuming that the other 120 or odd will be joining us soon. Okay, take care. 1 second. Okay, let me just go through your messages. Kishore, Kritika, Pritish, Sanobar, Guru Kiran, Baswaraj, Ruchi, Naren, Fizza, Advait, Bhumika, Rifa, Veeresh, Sanjana, Prakriti, Darshan, Khushi, Vijay, Lakshmi, Aditya, Priyanka, Sindhu, Tripti, Pranav, Sushma, Rashmi, Vignesh, Karthik, Anushri, Shravani, Aishwarya, Anand, Meghna, Chetna, Sushmita. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Okay. Chalo yaar. It's great to see. Chetan, Mahavirya, Vishal, Pranav, good morning. Good morning. Okay. So we'll be continuing our lecture, Human Health and Disease. Today is lecture number 7. So most probably I would require 4 more lectures after this one to finish off this chapter. Okay, 4 to 5 depending on what pace we go at and what pace you guys allow me to go at. Yeah. So no, Pranav, tomorrow Kahoot won't be there because tomorrow today's lecture is slightly lengthy. It will be tomorrow because tomorrow's lecture is slightly shorter in nature. Tomorrow I would only require 45 to 50 minutes to wrap up the tomorrow's lecture, so we can play Kahoot after that, right? Okay. Yes, Nivedita, notes are uploaded. Beta, you can check it. Yes, Pritish, next week the chapter will be completed. Tomorrow I'll be completing the immune system as a whole, and on Thursday I will be starting your AIDS. Okay. Good morning, Ethan. Okay. Okay. Okay, topic for Kahoot. So topic for Kahoot would be your this chapter, the one that we are doing. I don't know whether Nishikant sir has told you or not, but you guys will be having your MT again in probably 1 second. What happened here? Okay, 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so okay. Yes, Athar. So you will have your MT in probably not this Sunday, in probably 2 Sundays time. 2 Sundays time, if I'm right. Okay, I'll just have to check up on that. So you will have 2 more chapters. You will have this chapter and you will have the chapter after that, and you will have the chapter after that. Okay. So you will have 6 chapters of 12th standard and 22 chapters of 11th standard. Okay, so most probably in 2 to 3 Sundays time, you will have another MT. Okay. So yeah, just telling you before itself so that you guys can start preparing. And फिर मत बोलना कि sir it will be by July end, most probably, yes. Okay, it will happen in July, maybe on the last Sunday of July, which would be so the last Sunday of July would be 26th. Yeah, so 26th you guys will have your MT. 26th you guys will have your MT. Okay, so again the same thing will be followed that yes, Sushma, MT is always cumulative, so entire first year portion will be there. Okay, 50% of the portion will be from first year and 50% of the portion will be from second year. Okay, so make sure that you guys are studying well for it. Okay, start kare sir. Let's not waste any more time. So today is lecture number 7. So let's just do a quick revision of what we did in yesterday's class. So in yesterday's class we talked about your acquired immunity. In yesterday's class we talked about your acquired immunity And in acquired immunity, we talked about we saw that there's two type of immunity, humoral immunity and cell mediated immunity, right? And in yesterday's class we talked about humoral immunity. We talked about your B lymphocytes. We talked about the two types of B lymphocytes that we have, that is your plasma cells and your memory cells, memory B cells, right? Okay, and we also looked at, we know that your plasma cells are involved in antibody production. Plasma cells are involved in antibody production. We also looked at the structure of the antibody. So we looked at the antibody structure. And the last thing that we looked at was types of antibody. Types of antibodies. So those were the things that we studied in yesterday's class. Okay, so let's just go through a couple of revision questions and then we can start with the session. Okay, so the first question is on your screen. Antibody present in colostrum which protects the newborn baby. Okay, which protects the newborn baby from certain diseases of which type? Is of which type? That is what the question is. Okay. Okay, so let's have a quick poll and let's see what do you guys think is the answer for this one. A straightforward question, a question that the answer to which I mentioned in yesterday's class also. The poll is now live on your screen. Okay, 10 seconds and I'll wrap up the poll. Yeah, 10 seconds and I'll wrap up the poll. It's very surprising to see that only 40% of you have voted, despite the fact that I mentioned the answer of this question very clearly in my lecture yesterday. Okay, 5 seconds and I'll close the poll. Yeah, 5 seconds and I'll close the poll. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and let's stop. Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay, so 50%, 63% of you think that B is the correct option, and B is absolutely the correct option. So IgA is the antibody that is present in the mother's first milk or the initial milk of the mother that gets transferred from the mother to the baby. Okay. Okay. Yes, Pritish. Okay. Take it. Let's look at the next question. So the next question, this question was asked in AIPMT 2015. So AIPMT was the exam that used to happen before NEET came in, right? So this, you can think of this as, this was asked in NEET 2015. So the question is on your screen. If you suspect major deficiency of antibodies in a person, to which of the following would you look for confirmatory evidence to confirm that he has antibody deficiency? Okay, what would you look at? Serum albumins, hemocytes, serum globulins, fibrinogen, and plasma. That is what the question is. That is what the question is. Okay. Okay. Chalo. So let's have a poll. So in order to confirm that a person has less antibodies, which of the following samples would you take to analyze and confirm the theory? The poll is now live on your screen. Okay. Okay, 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. 45% of you have voted so far. Okay, yeah, 5 seconds and I'll close the poll. 5 seconds and I'll close the poll. 3, 2, 1, and let's stop. Okay, so let's see. Got it. 55% of you have voted, and those of you have voted, 41% of you think that C is the correct option, and C is indeed the correct option. That is, you will look at serum globulins. If you remember, your antibodies are nothing but immunoglobulins, right? They are made up of the globulin protein. So if you want to check whether the person has less antibodies or not, you will look at the presence of globulin in its serum, because antibodies are nothing but made out of the globulin protein. Okay, so the correct answer for this one is C, right? So questions like these can be asked in a slightly twisted manner of stuff that you have already studied. Okay, so it's very important to understand what you're studying properly, because in yesterday's class I mentioned multiple times that antibodies are nothing but immunoglobulins. That means they are made up of the globulin proteins. So if a person has less antibodies, that means you look at the globulin concentration in the serum of the person to determine if that's really the case or not. Okay, so this is something I've taught in the class, but if you see this question in the exam, you will think that your question to bahar se aa gaya. But this question is not from the outside. This question is from the textbook itself. Okay, and from the notes that I've taught. The only thing is, have you really understood what I've taught or not? So anyway, let's move forward. So in yesterday's class we looked at humoral immunity, right? So immunity that is conferred to you by the fluids, right? Conferred to you by the fluids, and in that we studied that the fluids contain antibodies, and the function of the antibodies is to protect us from foreign invading antigens or pathogens. Okay, so today obviously we'll be looking at your cell-mediated immunity, CMIS. Okay, so that is the first thing we'll be looking at. We know that B lymphocytes are part of your humoral immunity. We'll see what constitutes your cell-mediated immunity. How do they confer cell-mediated immunity? What are the different types of cells that are involved in cell-mediated immunity? And then we'll look at your immune response. How does your body generate a response in reaction to a pathogen or an infection? And the last topic that we're looking at will be your vaccination. Okay, so those are the three things that I have on the agenda. Should not take more than an hour, but let's see. Okay, so आगे बढ़ते हैं. So let's start with your cell-mediated immunity. So your humoral immunity was conferred by B lymphocytes, right? So your cell-mediated immune response is conferred by T lymphocytes, right? Your cell-mediated immunity is conferred by T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes, the major component of your humoral immunity, because they produce antibodies which are present in the fluids of the organism. But your T lymphocytes are responsible for cell-mediated immunity. Okay? Your T lymphocytes or T cells, they mature in the thymus. Right? So all of us know that thymus is a endocrine gland that is present in your chest cavity, right? And that is where they mature. It's very important to remember that they mature there, they are not produced there. All lymphocytes are produced in the bone marrow. The B lymphocytes get matured in the bone marrow itself, but the T lymphocytes get matured in the thymus. Okay? And T cells play two important functions. The T cells, they play two important functions, and the two important functions are effector and regulatory. Okay, so what are these functions? We'll be looking in the next slide, but for now, in this particular slide, you need to remember two things. The first thing is that cell-mediated immunity is because of T lymphocytes. Just like B lymphocytes are responsible for humoral immunity, your cell-mediated immunity is because of T lymphocytes. Okay, and your T lymphocytes mature in the thymus. They are produced in the bone marrow, but they mature in the thymus, right? And they have two important functions, effector and regulatory. What are these two functions? We'll look moving forward. And as I hope all of you know, that the size of the thymus decreases as an adult person grows, and that is one of the possible reasons that is thrown out there why the immunity of an older person is less than the immunity of a younger person. Okay, because the size of the thymus decreases. Yes, Pritish. Okay. Okay, यहाँ तक I hope सबको clear है. Just a basic introduction of cell-mediated immunity, right? So now let's look at what are these two functions that I'm saying: effector functions and regulatory functions. Now, effector function includes cytolysis. What is cytolysis? Cytolysis is nothing but destruction of cells. Okay, so It includes cytolysis of infected cells, cells that are infected with microbes, and tumor cells, and lymphokine production. What is lymphokine? Lymphokine is nothing but a type of cytokine which acts as a messenger between different types of WBCs. Okay, so there are two types of functions of T lymphocytes: effector function and regulatory function. The effector function is destruction of cells that are infected by the microbes and destruction of tumor cells They are also involved in production of lymphokine, which is nothing but a type of cytokine. If you remember, cytokine I mentioned in your innate immunity, right? So lymphokine's function is to act as a messenger between different types of WBCs. Okay, so that is your effector function. What is your regulatory function? The regulatory function, as the name says, right, to regulate something, right? So the regulatory function is to either increase or to suppress other lymphocytes and accessory cells. So the regulatory function is involved in regulating the immune response. Okay, how strong should the immune response be? Should we amp up the immune response or should we decrease down the immune response? So that falls onto the regulatory part of the T lymphocytes. Okay, so the T lymphocytes have two functions: effector functions and regulatory function. Effector function is to kill off the cells that are infected or tumor cells, right? And they're also involved in production of chemical messengers, which are known as lymphokine. Okay, the regulatory function is to either increase or suppress the other WBCs, the other lymphocytes that are involved in an immune reaction. A very important application of cell-mediated immunity is that cell-mediated immune response is responsible for the graft rejection during organ transplant. So when an organ transplant takes place, we take into account a lot of factors. And one of the factors that we take into account is, would the organ that we are transplanting, would the organ that we are transplanting generate an immune response, right? Because let's say if I randomly transfer a person's kidney, if I randomly transfer a kidney from one person to another without going through the matching criteria, then on transplanting the new kidney, the body might reject it if it is not of the same matching type. The body might reject it, okay? And that is known as graft rejection. Okay? So in that case, and graft rejection is due to cell-mediated immunity, T lymphocytes play a very important role in graft acceptance or rejection. Okay? Because if you randomly transfer an organ, the body will see that, okay, this is a foreign organ, we have to kill it. So as a result of that, the body will generate a strong immune response as a result of that organ transplant. So cell-mediated immunity plays a very important role in graft rejection or graft acceptance during organ transplant. That is why they say matching donor nahi tha, right? We need to find a matching donor. That is what they mean by that. Because if you transplant any organ from a non-matching person, there would be a very strong immune response, which could be fatal for the person also. So Shreya is asking, why are they going to suppress? Because beta, immune reaction is only needed when there's a pathogen in your body. If there's no pathogen in your body, and if your immune system is in hyperdrive despite no antigen being in your body, then it could start killing your own cells also. That is why the immune system has to be suppressed also. By suppressed, I'm not saying that their basic function should be shut down, but it should not be working in overdrive if it is not needed to. Okay, what are the conditions for a match? So there are a lot of conditions for match. Okay, to be honest, I do not know all of them, so I would not like to comment on it. But one of the things that they do look at is whether the T cells of the accepting person would reject the organ or not. Okay, what if the transplanted kidney is again put back to the donor? Why would you take it out of the donor if you're not sure that the other person would be able to accept it or not? Okay, that would be so stupid, I would say. I don't know. Okay, Okay, what characteristics of grafting, or we'll study after. Beta, characteristics of grafting is not part of the syllabus. Okay. Hopefully all of you will be doctors in 5 years time. Then maybe you guys will study in med school. What are the characteristics that you should look at while transferring an organ? Okay. Okay. Any doubt? Is this clear to everybody? Just give me a quick yes or no. Is this clear to everybody? Just give me a quick yes or no. You didn't get the last point, but the last point is the same, that when you transplant an organ, it's not always necessary that the organ would be accepted, right? And whether the organ would be accepted or not depends on whether you have taken the right matching criteria or not. That depends on your cell mediated immunity. That is why they say that the organ was not of the matching type. We couldn't find a match, right? He needed a heart, but we couldn't find the matching heart for him, because cell mediated immunity plays a very important role there. If you put the wrong one, then the immune system of the body will kill that organ off. So basically it's an exercise in futility. Okay, okay, got it. Okay, is this clear to anybody? Any doubts, beta? Then I'll move forward. Okay, आगे बढ़े. ठीक है, so shall I move forward now? Okay, so let's move forward. ठीक है, चलो. So nobody has any doubts here, so let's move forward now. Now let's look at what are the types of T cells. What are the types of T cells that play an important role in cell mediated immunity? Okay. Okay. Now, the types of cell mediated immunity are helper T cells, cytotoxic T cells, memory T cells, and suppressor T cells. The type of B cells, there were two basic types of B cells, that is your plasma cells and memory cells. But here we have 4 types of T cells, and all 4 of them play different roles. So the 4 types of T cells that we have is, okay, killer T cells or cytotoxic T cells. Both of them are same. Both of them are same. Killer T cells or cytotoxic T cells. Then you have helper T cells. Then you have memory T cells, and then you have suppressor T cells. Then you have suppressor T cells. Okay, so these are the 4 types of T cells that are generated once a T cell comes in contact with your antigen. Once a T cell comes in contact with your antigen, depending on what is the need of the body, these 4 types of T cells would be given rise to. So now let's see what are the individual functions of these T cells and how all of them come together to protect our body and to confer us with cell mediated immunity. Okay, chalo dekhte hain beta. So let's first talk about your T helper cells or TH cells. Okay, TH cells are the most numerous of the T cells. This is very important to remember, that T helper cells are the most numerous. Okay, they are the most abundantly present T cells. And what is their function? As the name suggests, they help in functions of immune system, right? So as the name says, since they are helper T cells, they help other cells in generating an immune response. They do not directly generate an immune response. They help other cells in generating an immune response. Okay? How do they do that? So they produce a growth factor that stimulates B cell proliferation and differentiation. So they produce growth factors. Growth factors are nothing but chemical compounds which is responsible for rapid division of the B cells, right? So that is the first function of helper T cells. That is the first function of the helper T cells. Okay? Now, helper T cells also stimulate antibody production by plasma cells. Antibody production by plasma cells. So they not only enable B cells to grow rapidly, okay, they are also involved in antibody production. Okay, they encourage the B cells to produce antibodies rapidly. Okay, and they also enhance the activity of cytotoxic T cells, which are nothing but killer T cells. Okay, so what are the 3 key functions of helper T cells? The 3 key function is, okay, growth. The 3 key functions are, one second, yeah, growth of B cells, increase antibody production from B cells, increase antibody production from B cells, and the last is enhance activity of cytotoxic T cells. Enhance the activity of cytotoxic T cells. So as you can see here, helper T cell is coming in contact with the bacteria, and as a result of that, it is producing chemicals which will help B cells in production of antibodies, and it will also help enhance the activity of the cytotoxic T cell. It will also enhance the activity of the cytotoxic T cells. Okay, so those are the three key functions of helper T cells. What are the three key functions of helper T cells? Growth and rapid division of B cells, increase antibody production from existing B cells, and enhancing the activity of cytotoxic T cells. Okay, is the function of helper T cells clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no, beta. Is the function of helper T cells clear to everybody? What are the functions of helper T cells? You can look at these three short points. Basically, I mentioned them in short. If those words like proliferation and differentiation are confusing for you guys, okay, आगे बढ़े. Shall I move forward now? Okay, chalo. Let's move forward now. Okay, Sanobar, you had a doubt with the third point. I hope that is now clear to you. Okay, let's move forward. So that was your helper T cells. Now let's move to your cytotoxic T cells or killer T cells. Okay. Now, as the name suggests, since they are cytotoxic or they're known as killer T cells, they are capable of killing microorganisms and even some of the body's own cells directly. Hence, they are called killer cells. So, as the name suggests, since they are involved in cytolysis, they are capable of not only killing organisms, they are also capable of killing infected cells. Okay? Now, the antigen receptors on the surfaces of the cytotoxic cells cause specific binding with antigens present on the surface of foreign cell. Right? So just like B cells had antigen receptors on their cells, T cells also have antigen receptors on their cells. And as a result of that, what happens is, the T cell is able to recognize the foreign antigen or the infected cell. So what it does is, as you can see in the figure also, so the infected cell comes in contact with the cytotoxic T cells. The cytotoxic T cells, okay, the cytotoxic T cells contain a molecule known as perforin molecule. And the perforin molecule, what it does is, it causes hole formation. It causes formation of holes in the infected cell. This is your infected cell. And as a result of that, the infected cell is destroyed. So that is a layman version of making you guys understand how cytotoxic T cells work. Okay, so Kishore, they kill own body cells when the own body cells are infected. Just like in this case, the own body cells are infected. So the cytotoxic T cells bind to infected cell. It contains a molecule known as perforin, and perforin makes holes in infected cells membrane, and the enzymes enter, and as a result of that, the infected cell is destroyed. That is how your cytotoxic cells work. That is one way the cytotoxic cells work. Okay, is this clear to everybody? Just give me a yes or no, beta. Is this clear to everybody? Just give me a yes or no. Is this clear to some extent, Pratish? To some extent. Okay, ye sabko samjha? So far we have talked about two types of T cells, cytotoxic T cells and helper T cells. I hope that the function of both of them is clear. Yes, Trishti. So the red dots that are moving, that is your perforin molecule, beta. Okay, beta Kirtan, lysosomes are for the cells itself. If a cell is damaged, then, but not in all the cases the cell is damaged when it is infected. Okay, Lysosome is there if any of the cell organelle gets damaged or if the cell is damaged, right? But a lot of time when a cell is infected, the cell is not damaged. That is why we have helper. That is why we have cytotoxic T cells. Obviously, if in all the cells lysosomes was capable of degrading the cell, if it gets infected, then we would not need them. But clearly that does not happen. That is why we need them. Why this cell kills our own cell? Beta darshan, because that cell is infected. That is why it will kill it off. उसको शॉक थोड़ी ना है मारने का. Okay, ठीक है. Priya, which part do you want me to repeat? Please be bit more specific, beta. Just do not say explain again. Be bit more specific. Which part do you want me to repeat? Okay, whenever you want me to repeat any particular point, please be bit more specific. I am assuming that the entire slide cannot be a complete blank. कुछ तो समझा ही होगा, right? So I'll just repeat the entire thing again. So cytotoxic T cells or killer T cells, they are involved in killing of microorganisms as well as our own cells that get infected, okay? And they contain receptors on their body, antigen receptors on their surface, just like B cells contain antigen receptors. And as a result, what happens is when it comes in contact with the cell that is infected, it will release perforin molecule which will cause a hole in the infected cell, and as a result of that the infected cell is destroyed. That is how your killer T cells work. Very important to remember, that cytotoxic T cells do not engulf. Okay, so as you can see that they cause holes here. They are not phagocytic in nature, they are cytolytic in nature. So Vidya is asking what is apoptosis. So who will give me the definition of apoptosis? What is apoptosis? Who will give me the definition of apoptosis? I am hoping that at least some of you would know what is apoptosis. Okay, nobody knows. What the hell? How is this possible? Okay, that is nobody knows what is apoptosis. Okay. So what is apoptosis? You can think of apoptosis as a type of suicide. Okay. So what happens is when the cell undergoes a programmed death, that is known as apoptosis. Okay. So that is what apoptosis is. Okay. Okay, I thought that you guys might be knowing this. Maybe you guys don't. Okay, so apoptosis is, you can think of it as cell suicide. So when the cell undergoes a programmed death. Okay, so apoptosis ka technical name is programmed cell death. That is known as apoptosis. Okay. Okay. Chalo, आगे बढ़ते हैं बेटा. So now we are done with 2. Now we are left with 2 more. So the next 2 that we have is your memory T cells and regulatory T cells. So memory T cells, okay, just like we had memory B cells, we have memory T cells also. Okay, so memory T cells are formed by T lymphocytes as a result of exposure to antigen, and they remain in the lymphatic tissue. Example, spleen, lymph nodes, etc. Okay, so when T cells come in contact with an antigen, some of them differentiate to form memory T cells. And the memory T cells, they remain in the lymphatic tissue in case of future infection occurs. Okay, so they recognize original invading antigens even years after the first encounter. So once they have been formed, they will have the memory of that infection for years to come. In some cases, decades also. Depends from infection to infection. Okay, so the memory T cells are generated. Okay, as a result of T lymphocytes coming in contact with the antigen, and they remain in lymphatic tissue like spleen and lymph nodes. Spleen is the destruction of RBC. Yes, beta. So multiple functions ho sakte hai na. Who's stopping spleen from destroying RBCs? Destroying RBC is completely independent of storing some of the memory T cells, right? So the spleen can do both the functions. Okay? These cells keep ready to attack as soon as the same pathogen infects the body again. Kal ko agar tumhe cholera hua, we will have memory T cells. So if after 10 years, maybe 10 years, maybe after 5 years, if again a cholera, Vibrio cholera enters your body, the memory T cells will be like, yes, we have seen this, we know how to deal with this, let us deal with this. So you will not suffer any symptoms. You will not suffer any symptoms. Okay? Obviously, cholera was a generic example. Okay. And this is something that is applicable to a lot of different types of diseases. Okay? In case of TB, as it comes back after some time, but our immunity does not remain as effective. Why? Beta Atharv, if you listen to my class carefully, I told you in case of TB, a lot of people are asymptomatic. Why do you think those people are asymptomatic? Jadoo to ho nahi raha unki body mein. That means their immune system is the one that is keeping the TB in check. When the bacteria overpowers your immune system, then the symptoms of TB start showing. A lot of people for TB are asymptomatic. And the reason for you being asymptomatic is because your immune system is working very well, right? So you should not take what your body does for you granted. A lot of time, why do you think so many people for corona are also asymptomatic? The reason for that is also because their immune system is working very well. People who have messed up immune system, unme dekho corona ke symptoms mast aate hain. So it's not like our immune system does not work against diseases. It does. We start showing symptoms when the immune system gets overpowered. Okay, what's the difference between memory T cells and memory B cells? The difference is very clear cut. Memory B cells, when they encounter the same antigen again, they will differentiate into plasma cells, and plasma cells will produce antibodies. Memory T cells will differentiate into T cells, like cytotoxic T cells or helper T cells, right? So that is the key difference. Principle of action is same. What they will give rise to after differentiation is different, because obviously memory B cells will give rise to memory T cells, plasma B cells, and memory T cells will give rise to cytotoxic T cells and helper T cells. Sakshi beta, first point bas itna hai, memory T cells are formed when T cells come in contact with an antigen, to uska ek small portion memory T cells bhi bana dega, so that we have a memory how to deal with this, Okay, so is memory T cells clear to everybody? Beta, give me a yes or no. Is memory T cells clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no, beta. Okay. Chalo, आगे बढ़े. Okay, so let's move forward then. So the last one that we have is suppressor T cells or regulatory T cells. Okay, so they are also known as regulatory T cells or TR, and as the name suggests, they are capable of suppressing the functions of cytotoxic and helper T cells, right? So they suppress the functions. When the functions of those cells is not needed, then the regulatory T cells kick into action. They're like, infection has been eliminated, infection has been eliminated, okay? Infection has been eliminated, and now let's keep your function down. Now let's tone your function down, because let's not get you in overdrive, because ho sakta hai, then you might start killing your own body cells. So once the infection has been cleared off, then regulatory T cells kick into action. They're like, your job is now done, go back into your cave, stay there, we'll call you back out again once we need you. Okay? So they suppress the functions of cytotoxic T cells and helper T cells. They inhibit the immune system from attacking the body's own cells, right? So their job is to protect the body from its own immune system, Okay? And it is believed that suppressor cells regulate the activity of the other cells also. That is, they regulate the activity of the B lymphocytes also. But the research is still ongoing. Okay? So what is the function of suppressor T cells? The suppressor T cells is they are capable of suppressing the functions of cytotoxic T cells and helper T cells. So whenever those cells are not needed by the body, the suppressor T cells will tone down their function. They inhibit the immune system from attacking its own body cells. They're like, no, this is ye hamara hai, let's not harm this, right? And it is also believed that they regulate the activities of the other cells, but the research into that front is still ongoing. Okay. So is the function of suppressor T cells clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no. Okay. Is it clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no, beta. Is the function of suppressor T cell clear to everybody? Okay. I'll move forward now. Okay, so I just have one suggestion. Whenever you guys are asking a doubt, keep your doubts short and precise. Okay, do not give me very long paragraphs to read, because then I'll get distracted from the topic. Okay, so I'm hoping nobody has any doubts here, so I'll move forward now. Okay. Okay, Kirti, can you please explain helper cells again? So beta, helper cells, okay, your network was disconnected. Dekho beta, the helper cells, as the name suggests, they help the cells, they help the other WBCs. So they help in differentiation, that is rapid division of B cells. They help B cells in production of antibodies, and they help cytotoxic T cells in killing the infected cells or microorganisms. Okay, I'll move forward now. Sure, let's move forward. So those were the 4 types of T cells, and that was your entire cell mediated immunity. So we have studied cell mediated immunity, we have studied humoral immunity. Now we'll be talking about acquired immunity and what are the different types of acquired immunity. Okay, so your acquired immunity is of 2 types, and obviously we'll be looking at these types in detail. Okay, if disease occurs second time, should it be more or less severe? Beta, if the disease occurs second time, your body would be much better prepared. But again, that depends on whether the memory cells for those particular antigen are still there in the body or not. Yes, the memory cells have a very long lifespan. But if the disease occurs the second time when your memory cells are no longer there, then you would have to go through the entire process again, where you might suffer the same as you did the first time around. Okay. Okay. So your acquired immunity is classified. Acquired immunity is classified into 2 categories. Is classified into 2 categories: active immunity, passive immunity. And then active immunity is classified into natural and artificial. Passive immunity is also classified into natural and artificial. What are these type of immunities? How they are different? It's very important, because kai bar kya karte hai, they will give you an example, they'll ask you, this is an example of what kind of immunity: active immunity, passive immunity, natural active immunity or artificial active immunity, natural passive immunity or artificial passive immunity. So it's very important to understand. It's very important to understand the key differences between these type of immunity: natural active, artificial active, natural passive, artificial passive. Why cells are not effective in common cold to suppress it? Dekho beta, in general, viruses are difficult to deal with because the viruses mutate very rapidly. Okay, so how does the memory cells recognize or remember a particular cell? The memory cells remember or recognize a particular cell by its antigen, right? What are antigens? The surface protein that are expressed. The problem with virus is that they mutate or they evolve so rapidly that their protein code keeps on changing. So if protein code change ho gaya beta, then even if you have memory cells and respond to that, what is its use? Because uska to protein code change ho gaya, and your memory cells have the same old antigen reception against the old one, not the new one. So that is why it's very difficult to generate a proper response against viral disease. That is why common cold, we get common cold frequently. Because for common cold, there are thousands of types of strains of rhinovirus out there. तुमने एक के अगेंस्ट इम्यूनिटी डेवलप किया, दूसरा आके तुम्हें इन्फेक्ट कर देगा, एक के अगेंस्ट किया, तीसरा आके इन्फेक्ट करेगा. So that is how the problem, that is what the problem is, right? The same goes for flu also, right? People get in flu a lot of time, right? And why is that the case? Because the strain of flu keeps on changing rapidly, right? Its protein code keeps on changing. And that is another thing that we are not yet sure about coronavirus, right? Once we get coronavirus, would we not get coronavirus again? Agar nahi hoga to kab tak nahi hoga? Would it not be there for 6 months, 1 year, or can I catch it again? So that is the thing. That is the problem with viruses. They divide so rapidly, their protein code changes so rapidly that it becomes difficult to develop immunity against them. Okay? I hope I answered your question. Chalo. Now let's talk about your different types of acquired immunity. Okay? So this is just a graphical representation. Obviously, we'll be talking about this in much more detail. So active immunity, so acquired immunity is of active immunity and passive immunity. Active immunity is natural and artificial. Passive immunity is natural and artificial. Okay? Okay, chalo. Now let's start with your first active immunity. What is active immunity? Okay? So when a host is exposed to antigens, which may be in the form of living or dead microbes or other proteins, antibodies are produced in the host body. So whenever you come across any type of antigen, your body will automatically produce antibodies against them. and this type of immunity is called active immunity. So what is active immunity? Active immunity is whenever your body comes in contact with antigens and the antibodies that it produces in response to the antigen is classified under active immunity. The natural antibodies being produced in your body in response to an infection or in response to an antigen being introduced in your body is known as active immunity. Is known as active immunity. Okay? And active immunity is slow and takes time to give its full effective response. Okay? Active immunity is slower in nature because first your cells will encounter the antigen for the first time. Then they will figure out how to deal with it. Then they will develop a memory bank. ताकि अगर second infection हो, then we can fight it off rapidly. But the first time when it is fighting, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. Okay? So what is active immunity? Active immunity is when your body encounters antigens either in the form of living or dead microorganisms or proteins. So the antibodies that are produced in response to that are classified under active immunity. Okay? So is active immunity clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no. Is active immunity clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no. Okay? Active immunity सबको clear है बेटा? So what is active immunity? मेरे अंदर कोई भी antigen आया, the antibodies that is being produced naturally by my body, that is your active immunity. That is active immunity. Natural production of antibodies in your body in response to an antigen. In response to an antigen. Okay? Chalo. Okay. Chalo. Let's move forward now. So it is of two types, natural and active. So what is natural? Infectious organisms gaining access into body during natural infection induce active immunity, and this is known as natural active immunity. When organisms enter your body and generate an immune response, that is natural active immunity. What is artificial? Artificial is the resistance induced by vaccines. Artificial is the resistance induced by vaccine. So what is natural? जब तुम automatically खुद बीमार पड़ते हो and then automatically your body produces antibody. That is your natural active immunity. What is artificial? When you get vaccinated. Because हम vaccination में क्या करते हैं बेटा? We take dead or weakened microbes and we infect ourselves. So हमने जानबूझ के अपने आप को infect किया. So that our bodies can produce antibodies. Okay? So what is natural active? When you automatically naturally get infected. And naturally there is production of antibodies in your body. What is artificial? When you inject yourself with microbes on your own, basically nothing but vaccination. So that is your artificial active immunity. Okay? But in both the cases your body is producing antibodies. Antibodies बाहर से नहीं आ रहे हैं, तुम्हारा बॉडी ही प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है. ठीक है? No author, that does not happen beta. Scientists are not stupid. Obviously they ensure that the microbe that is going in is weakened and cannot turn into a deadly form, right? Chalo. So now is artificial and natural active immunity clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no beta. Give me a yes or no. सबको clear है? Natural and artificial active immunity. In both the cases, antibodies तुम्हारा body ही produce कर रहा है. In both the cases, antibodies are being produced by the body. The only difference is, do you get infected naturally, or do you get infection naturally, or do you yourself get yourself injected with the weakened strain? Rohit beta, I hope you were there for my coronavirus lecture. जो भी questions थे coronavirus का, you should have asked them. If you were not there, that is on you. I conducted a separate half-an-hour session on coronavirus where I answered all the questions, including vaccine of coronavirus also. Okay? So I'm not going to be answering any questions about coronavirus because I know it's a very hot topic, but I cannot waste time on it. Okay? If you are still interested, I think the lecture is there on YouTube. You can go look into it. Okay? Sure. Let's move forward now. So now let's talk about your passive immunity. So what is passive immunity? When ready-made antibodies are directly given to protect the body against foreign antigens, that is called passive immunity. So active immunity में क्या हो रहा था बेटा? तुम्हारा body, your own body was producing antibodies. In passive immunity, you are taking directly ready-made antibodies from the outside. Okay, so that is passive immunity. Passive immunity provides immediate relief. फट से आराम मिल जाता है. It is not long lasting. Your active immunity is because तुम्हारी body ने खुद antibodies produce किए. Your body itself produced memory B cells and memory T cells, so they will remain in your body for longer. But here तुम तो directly बाहर से antibodies ले रहे हो. Your body is not doing anything. Your body is not producing anything. So immediate relief तो है, but it is not long lasting. Active immunity का benefit क्या है? Long lasting है, but drawback क्या है? Immediate relief is not there. Your body takes time to build antibodies to figure out how to fight off this infection. So that is what passive immunity is. Okay? Now again, there are two types of passive immunity: natural passive immunity and artificial passive immunity. So what is natural passive immunity? When the resistance is passively transferred from the mother to the fetus or baby. Okay? So when the antibodies, हमने पढ़ा था, there are two types of antibodies that you get from your mother. Okay? There are two types of antibodies that you get from your mother, IgG and IgA. So receiving antibodies from your mother, receiving antibody from your mother is part of natural passive immunity. So we know that IgG antibodies can cross placental barrier to reach the fetus. So this is an example of natural passive immunity. अपने आप ही माँ से IgG antibodies आ जाते हैं. And then after birth, immunoglobulins are transferred to the newborn through the breast milk, and we know that colostrum is rich in IgA antibodies. Okay? So what is natural passive immunity? When you receive antibodies from your mother passively. Before birth, IgG cross the placenta. After birth, you receive IgA from your mother, from your mother's milk, and both of them provide short-term relief. For the first 3-4 months, they will protect. After that, vaccination becomes important. The outside antibody may turn antigen to us. Beta, ऐसा नहीं होता है. चिंता मत करो. Again, scientists have thought this through, beta. It's not like taking rice from the outside and putting it in your body. Okay? Whenever any medicine that you take, it has gone under hundreds of trials. Hundreds of experiments have been conducted on it before you leisurely take that paracetamol when you have a fever. That paracetamol before reaching you has undergone hundreds of tests. And scientists take care of that because they know that it's people's lives that are at stake. Okay? So this is your natural passive immunity. Is natural passive immunity clear to everybody, beta? Is Ayurveda passive immunity also? How? Passive immunity has nothing to do with Ayurveda or allopathy or homeopathy. Passive immunity is when you directly receive antibodies from the outside. तुम उसको आयुर्वेदा बोलो, allopathy बोलो, homeopathy बोलो, ketopathy बोलो, patopathy बोलो, nobody cares. Passive immunity is when you get antibodies directly from the outside. So, is natural passive immunity clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no bota. Is it clear to everybody? 7 people have pressed yes. बाकी सबको समझ गया क्या अपने आप ही? ठीक है? Is it clear to everybody? Okay, chalo, let's move forward now. So now let's talk about your artificial passive immunity. Artificial passive immunity. Okay, so what is artificial passive immunity? So it is the resistance passively transferred to a recipient by administration of antibody. So when you take an antibody injection, that is your artificial passive immunity. Natural passive immunity is you getting it from your mother. Artificial passive immunity is when you are injected by it. When you are injected by it. Okay. Now, how do we get these antibodies? We get these antibodies from hyperimmune serum of man or animals. You can take these antibodies from another person. For example, this is something I mentioned. In your coronavirus lecture also when I talked about plasma therapy, right? I told that Government of Maharashtra asked Mumbai people to come forward and donate their plasma. Right, I told you only 9 to 10 people showed up. Sorry, 18 people some showed up out of 3,000 some people who were contacted, right? So the reason for that, okay, but the reason for that, okay, why they're asking for plasma of those people who have recovered is because their body contains antibodies against coronavirus. So they are planning to take the plasma from them and give it to the people who are infected right now and save them. So you can get antibodies, from another person who has suffered from the disease, or you can generate those antibodies in the animals, Okay, and you can generate the you can generate the antibodies in the animals. Very famous example of that is anti-venom. So when a snake bites you, the injection that you get, I don't think any of you have been bitten by a snake, okay? So when a snake bites you, you are given an injection. That injection contains anti-venom. That injection contains anti-venom. That injection contains anti-venom. That injection contains anti-venom. And anti-venom is nothing but antibodies. Now they go. Technically, in a long period of time, if you give your body enough time, your body can also. So let's say कल को तुम्हें king cobra ने काट लिया. King cobra bites you. If I give you body 20-30 days, your body can also produce antibodies against that venom. But the problem is that your body won't be alive for that many days. You don't have that much time on your hand. That is why immediate anti-venom injection is necessary. So what you do is that you go to a doctor, the doctor will inject you with an anti-venom. And the anti-venom will contain antibodies that will react with the venom of the snake and will destroy it. Okay? And how are these anti-venom produced? Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but it's actually very fascinating. So what they do is that they take the venom from the snake. They make the snake bite on a membrane, and as a result of that, its venom gets collected in the flask. And then what they do is that they take a very diluted version of this venom and they inject the horse with it. Very diluted, ताकि horse खुद ना मर जाए. Very diluted version of the venom. And then after some time, the horse body will produce antibodies against this venom. Then what they do is that they collect the plasma of this horse, and from there they will isolate the antibodies. And then those antibodies are then given to a human. So that is how anti-venom is produced. Why only from a horse? Now that is something I am not sure about. If I have to hypothesize, I would say that probably they have a very good immune system, which they do, right? That is why we have a phrase healthy as a horse, because horse have a very good immune system, right? Plus, I'm assuming because of their larger body size, they would have more plasma in their body, so you can extract more plasma out of their body without damaging the horse. So those are the two reasons that I would hypothesize. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that the first one is correct. I'm not sure about the second one. Okay? Can this diluted venom be put in human? डालने को डाल सकते हो, but which human would volunteer कि लाओ मुझ में venom डाल दो ताकि मेरे दोस्त को जान बच जाए? Nobody would do that, so we do not do it. Plus, you would need permission also. ठीक है? This means we are taking antibodies of force. Yes, when we talk about anti-venom, you can say that. ठीक है? If you put in an elephant, the plasma will be much higher than the horse. But beta, elephant is not a domestic animal. Horse is a domestic animal. You cannot conduct experiments on wild animals. You can only do it on domestic or lab animals. Okay? If we extract plasma, there's no effect. Depends on how much plasma you're extracting. A certain amount can be extracted without harming the person. Mongoose live when snake bites it. Mongoose, so it depends from snake to snake. Yeah, mongoose are resistant to some type of snake infection, some type of snake bites, but not all of them. Why can't we take elephant? Beta abhi bataya maine. Why can't we take elephant? Because elephant is not a domestic animal. Khatam. ठीक है? Why not cow? गाय हमारी माता है. That's why. ठीक है? अरे there will be, देखो यार, whenever you want to conduct experiments, there will be not only ethical issues, there will be religious issues also. If tomorrow Hindus realize that experiments are being conducted on cows, तो बेटा सारी pharmaceutical companies को आग लगा देंगे. That is why not on cows. Plus, the immune system of horse is better than cow. Okay, horse do not get sick that easily. Why can't we take mongoose plasma? Because mongoose is a wild animal. Plus, again, there will be a lot of ethical as well as experimental issues with the mongoose. I'm pretty sure scientists are very Scientists must have considered all those things when they went with horse. ठीक है? But antibody of horse is also foreign material. बेटा, cells of horse will be foreign material for us. Antibody structure same ही है बेटा, उसमें भी Y shaped structure ही है, उसमें भी antibody same amino acid से बना है, उसमें भी same Fab और FC region है, उसमें भी same antigen binding region है, same constant region, same variable region. So antibody of the horse is not a foreign material to us. Obviously, if it was, तो बेटा हमें क्यों ही देंगे? The structure of the antibody is the same. Cells of the horse would be foreign material to us. ठीक है? Then we can conduct on mouses. Yes, करने को तो mouse पे भी कर सकते हो बेटा. Mouse से कितने plasma निकाल लोगे तुम? ठीक है? चलो. I hope this is now clear to everybody. Just a side anecdote that I wanted you guys to know. Obviously, I knew that would open up a can of worms, which I didn't want to. So this is a flow chart that you guys can use to memorize it in a short way, right? So इतना बड़ा definition की जगह you can just look at this slide and you can directly remember everything. ठीक है? So it's very important to differentiate between natural active, artificial active, natural passive, artificial passive, because they will give you an example, right? They can give you, right? You got vaccinated. What type of immunity that is? So you should know it is artificial active immunity. They'll say that you got bit by, you got चलो मैं तुम्हें एक होमवर्क देता हूँ, मैं तुम्हें फिजा कुछ भी नहीं है बेटा, जो मैंने previous slide में बनाया वही है. So yeah, nothing new here. You can zoom it when you download the slides. ठीक है? So I will give you homework. So when a rabies dog bites us, we take an injection. You have to tell me under which category does it come. So when a dog that has rabies, if that dog bites us, we take rabies injection. You have to tell me under which category will it come. Will it come under natural active, artificial active, natural passive, artificial passive? ठीक है? Okay, चलो, ठीक है? Clear है? आराम से मुझे बताना चेक करके कल. Under which category will it fall? Because this question has been asked before. ठीक है? So if you are really concerned about your marks, थोड़ा search कर लेना, फिर मुझे बताना. Do not just throw at the top of your mind. चलो, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Okay, शाश्वत act art. अपने ही धुन में है act art. As if मुझे सपना आएगा what is act art. Okay, चलो. Now let's talk about immune response. How does your body generate an immune response? ठीक है? So immune response involves primary immune response and secondary immune response. Primary immune response and secondary immune response. What is primary immune response? So after an initial contact with an antigen, no antibodies are present for a period of several days. So once you first come in contact with an antigen, there will be first few days during which no antibodies will be produced. Then a slow rise in the antibody concentration occurs. First IgM and then IgG, followed by a gradual decline in antibody concentration. So for the first few days, there will be no antibody production, but then gradually the antibody concentration will start rising. First IgM will rise, then IgG will rise. And then as the infection will subsidize, the concentration of these antibodies will also subsidize. Okay? Now, this was your primary immune response. What is secondary immune response? So, after primary immune response, memory cells may remain in the body for decades. This only happens after primary immune response. Agar primary immune response kabhi nahi hua hai, that means you will have no memory cells. But once primary immune response has taken place and you have memory cells, so every new encounter with the same antigen results in a rapid proliferation of memory cells. So जब वो same antigen बाद में आएगा, then what will happen is that there will be rapid division of the memory cells. प्रथम next slide में graph है, वहां समझेगा बेटा, चिंता मत करो, ठीक है? So you have a primary response where for the first few days there is no antigen production. Then the antibody production. Then the antibody production starts rising gradually. Okay? After that, what happens is it will subsidize as the infection dies down. Now, memory cells ban gaya. Now, when the same antigen will come again, your memory cells will divide rapidly. Your memory cells will divide rapidly. As a result of that, antibody concentration after subsequent encounters is far greater than during a primary response, and it consists mainly of IgG antibodies. Beta Athar, viruses do not have species. Viruses do not fall under the 5 kingdom classification of Whittaker. So viruses do not have species. I thought you knew this. Anyway, no issues here. Okay? So what was I saying? Yeah. So in the secondary immune response, the memory cells divide rapidly. As a result of the antibody concentration much higher than it was in the primary response. So to understand this better, there's a graph. As you can see, initial exposure for the first few days, little to no antibody production. Basangaya, obviously T lymphocytes will also be produced. Then your primary immune response happens. The antibody concentration increases. Then as the infection dies down, its concentration decreases. Then comes your secondary exposure. That means antigen dobara aa gaya. He wants a second round. He is not happy after defeat in the first round. Now your body would be like, screw you, I am eliminating you completely. As you can see that the antibody concentration is now much higher than it was in primary immune response. So that is basically what I said in the previous 2 slides, and that can be summarized in one particular graph. So is immune response clear to everybody? Beta, give me a yes or no. Is immune response clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no, beta. Sabko immune response samjha? Okay, got it? आगे बढ़े फिर? Shall I move forward now? Chalo, let's move forward then. Now let's talk about your vaccination. Last topic of the day. Then we'll stop the class. That is vaccination. Okay. Now, the principle of vaccination is based on your immune response. जो हमने अभी पढ़ा. Okay. That is what we take advantage of. So that is why it was necessary to cover immune response first and then move to vaccination. Okay. Because the principle of immunization or vaccination is based on the property of memory of the immune system, and it is because of the memory of the immune system secondary response itna badhiya hota hai compared to primary response. So that is what the vaccination is based on. That is what the principle of vaccination is based on. Now, what is vaccine? So vaccine comes from the name vacca, which is Latin for cow. Story kya hai batata hu. ठीक है? So vaccine is a preparation, suspension or extract. तीनों में से कोई भी एक word लिख देना चलेगा. ठीक है? Of dead or attenuated germs of a disease. Attenuated का मतलब weakened. bracket में लिखा है. ठीक है? Okay. Of a disease which on inoculation मतलब क्या? Insertion. Inoculation, injection into a healthy person provides temporary or permanent active or passive immunity by inducing antibody formation. So what is vaccine? Vaccine is nothing but a suspension of dead or weak germs of a disease which are injected into a healthy person to provide temporary or permanent immunity. How is a germ weakened? So a germ is weakened by mutating the virulent strains out of it. So there are certain parts of the germ DNA that causes disease. So what we do is that we just nullify those strains. ताकि वो germ तो हमें आ जाए, but it cannot cause disease. So that is how we weaken the germ, by nullifying that strain of the DNA which is responsible for causing disease in us. So that is the definition of vaccine. Okay? And what is vaccination? Vaccination is the process of introduction of vaccine into an individual to provide protection against a disease. Okay? So vaccine is a suspension of dead or weak microorganisms, okay, or germs of a disease that are injected into a person to provide them temporary or permanent immunity. And the process of introducing vaccine into an individual to provide protection against a disease is known as vaccination. ठीक है. Now, so as I said, it takes advantage of our immune response. There's a primary immune response, then there's a secondary immune response. So antigens generate the primary immune response, right? So for example, you have polio vaccine. अगर तुमने polio vaccine नहीं लिया, so whenever the polio virus will enter your body, we know that for the first few days there will be no antibody production, and that time is enough for polio virus to screw you up, to mess you up completely. ठीक है. So उसके बाद primary response आएगा भी, तब तक paralysis हो चुका है. So मैंने जब polio vaccine लिया, so what did I do? I generated an immune response. I generated a primary immune response. ठीक है. I took dead or weakened polio virus. I took it. As a result of that, my body will generate a primary immune response, and I know that primary immune response takes time. So, but since that germ is dead or weakened, I will not get polio, and my body will have enough time to generate a primary response. फिर उसके बाद, if I by chance get polio virus in my body, now my body remembers what polio virus looks like, and now the secondary response would be rapid, and the virus will not even have time to infect my legs, and I will not get paralysis. So what do vaccines do? Vaccines generate primary immune response, and they also generate memory B cells and T cells, Okay, so that is how vaccines take advantage of the immune response. What they do is that they generate a primary response, and that is why some people have fever after vaccination, because their body is generating a immune response, and fever is part of the immune response. सभी बच्चों को नहीं आता है, कुछ बच्चों को आता है, and the fever is also not that high. हल्का सा fever आता है, ठीक है, because the body is generating primary immune response. ठीक है. Vedant, I fail to understand your question. ठीक है. Now, when the vaccinated person is attacked by the same pathogen again, the existing memory T or B cells recognize the antigen quickly and attack the invaders with a massive production of lymphocytes and antibodies. So primary response generate हो गया, memory cells बन गए. So now when the real strong form of the bacteria or the virus will come, your body knows how to deal with it, and it will rapidly start working, and it will not even have a chance to make you guys sick. That is the whole principle of vaccination. अब इसका story क्या है? So in Edward Jenner in 1797, okay, what he did was, so what he did was that, so people who had cowpox, so maids or people used to work with cows, they used to have cowpox. So in cowpox, you have these pustules on your skin, pus-filled region in your skin. So what he did was that he took some pus from those people who were suffering from cowpox, and he injected them into an 8-year-old child, and he saw that, and after a couple of weeks, what he did was that then he injected that child with smallpox virus, and he saw that the child did not get infected. And I was like, what the hell is this? So he conducted experiments on more people, and he saw that if you inject people with that pus from the cowpox infected people, then these people would not get smallpox. And how did he come to this? How they gave permission to do directly on a living person? Beta, back then dawai kuch nahi hota tha, so people were willing to accept anything. So how did he come to this? In 1770s, he overheard actually a milkmaid. Saying that, so back then smallpox was rampant. Abhi kya hai, we have completely eradicated smallpox, but back then smallpox was rampant, and smallpox mein kya hota, used to have dots on your body. So there was a milkmaid who was saying that, I will never get smallpox because I have cowpox, because I have suffered from cowpox, so I will never ever get smallpox, and I will never have messed up faces like you guys. So that made Edward Jenner think, and that was the founding principle of his first experiment of vaccination 20 years later. So he figured out that if you take the pus from the people, who was suffering from cowpox and you inject it into healthy people, then those healthy people will not get smallpox. And iska another reason tha, he saw that people who had suffered from cowpox before, they never suffered from smallpox. So it's like kuch to hai, kuch to ho raha hai. Like something this cowpox virus is doing that the smallpox virus is not able to infect these people. And then 50 odd years later, Louis Pasteur designed the vaccine for rabies, virus. So those were the first two vaccines to be developed. And after that, we have developed countless number of viruses. Okay, like we take so many things for granted. Previously, polio used to be so rampant that when the vaccine for polio came out, there was a press conference about it where the scientist who discovered it was lauded, he was appreciated, right? There was this big crowd who came to greet him, and people used to line up for vaccination, for polio vaccination, as if a new iPhone is releasing. That is how rampant polio was, and those are the things that we take for granted. So that was a small story of how vaccination really developed. Okay, got it. Chalo. So with that, I end today's session. Just give me a quick feedback, then you guys can drop off. I hope that you guys like today's class. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's class. Most importantly, I hope that you guys understood today's class, right? Thank you very much for your patience. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Till then, take care, guys. Bye-bye.